All right, so I'm a huge fan of rematches, especially high octane rematches. Chiefs and Bengals in the AFC Championship, Duke and North Carolina in the Final Four, and this Friday night we're gonna have Oregon rematching with Washington after that fantastic matchup that they had in Seattle back in October. Personally, one of my favorite games of the whole year. Two great teams playing each other, and they get the opportunity to take the field against each other once again. So, thank you to the college football gods for making that a possibility. Now, it is interesting to note that there was a change of location for this game. The last game was in rainy Seattle, home of the Washington Huskies. They had that home crowd behind them. They had college game day. They just generally had a lot of support behind them. That's this neutral fields is going to neutralize things a little bit, and we're really going to get a glimpse at who the better team is in this matchup at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, a stadium that I really want to see in person, but I haven't gotten to it yet. It's funny when you look at that game back in October. As time went on, you kind of you reflect about it. You think to yourself, do I perceive it differently after what has unfolded after Washington and Oregon saw each other last on the gridiron? Oregon and Washington have been it's been like a tale of two teams since that game. Oregon has been absolutely on fire, arguably the hottest team in college football. Their momentum is unbelievable, and I don't think anybody wants to play them right now. They're peaking at the right time. They seem to get better every game, and going into the month of December, that is just absolutely petrifying. I don't care that they're in the Pac-12. I don't care if they play in the West Coast. This team is very, very good on both sides of the ball. They're excellent. And you're going to see that on Friday night. I'm going to throw out a few stats at you here just to put into perspective how great they are on both sides of the ball. Bo Nix, who's arguably the Heisman favorite right now, has a 78.3 completion percentage versus top 25 teams. Not just, against the bottom of the barrel teams in the Pac-12. Top 25 teams. He's right near 80% with completion percentage. That is unbelievable. And I know that they're great on offense. Bo Nix is almost 4,000 yards passing. Their wide receiver, Troy Franklin, is a 1,000-yard receiver. And, it's very challenging to be a 1,000-yard receiver, but Mr. Franklin has achieved that. So we know how great Oregon is on offense. But let's not forget about the Ducks' defense. 15.92 points per game allowed on defense. And this isn't just week 4 compiling the stats from the first 3 games, just Portland State factored in there. This is the entire 12-game schedule. 15.92 points per game after playing Washington, after playing Utah, after playing Oregon State, playing these ranked teams. USC, that's still what their points per game is. They played some great offenses this year. And to be able to sustain that is unreal. So those numbers really put into perspective just how great this Oregon team is. And here's one last one I'm going to throw at you just to illustrate the momentum that's on their side right now. Since that game in Seattle in mid-October, Oregon has not scored less than 30 points. They're on fire. Can't wait to see what they do Friday night. It's been a tale of two teams. Washington has looked a lot different than Oregon ever since. Yes, they're undefeated, and I credit them for them. I credit that for them. That is a very challenging feat to accomplish in college football, to be undefeated. And Washington had a considerably challenging schedule this year. Oregon State's, Oregon, Arizona, who has really emerged, USC, and they managed to win all those games. So caps off to the Huskies for that. They started their season off with the dangerous Boise State Broncos. And you know how disruptive those Boise State Broncos can be. Washington shut them down. But since that matchup with Oregon, they've been spotty. They've been very inconsistent. They've been up and down. They're like that pizza restaurant that I go to, and sometimes the pizza is just like out of this world to die for. Like I dream about it. And then next time I go and the sauce is dry and it's crunchy and there's not enough cheese. It's bland. Like that's been Washington these past several weeks since that matchup with Oregon. The week after the Oregon game was that very strange game for Washington against Arizona State where they won 15-7, and it looked at times like they were going to lose to the Sun Devils. Fast forward a couple weeks, they're struggling with Stanford, and that's a game I'm like, all right, yeah, Washington's going to put them away. And Stanford just keeps coming back into it and keeps coming back into it. I'm like, what is going on here? Oregon State, Michael Penix Jr. did not look fantastic, and yes, the Apple Cup, it's a rivalry game. It's going to be close. But Washington was very up and down in that game too. So that's been the general theme. You've seen those offensive fireworks with Michael Penix Jr. and Rome Oduns and whatnots for the Huskies. So you've seen that. It's not like that's completely vanished. But you've also seen a lot of inconsistency. You've also seen that offense out of sync a lot. And going into a matchup with Oregon, that's something that has to be considered. There is a momentum disparity going into this game. A team that's undefeated, a team that's in the top four now, trying to get that one last win to get in the playoff. You start to play a little tight when you see that 0 in the loss column. It's like, let's not mess this up. Let's not mess this up. That can be the mentality sometimes. You can play tense. You can play tight. When you're Oregon, you have that one loss. You're playing with desperation. You're playing like the underdog. Your mentality is, if not now, when? What do we have to lose? And there's that revenge factor. Oregon has wanted nothing more but to beat these Huskies ever since they lost in Seattle. Oregon that day, there are games where a team can look like the better team, but they lose. And Oregon looked like the better, more complete team all afternoon. But Washington won. Because Washington capitalized on big moments and Oregon didn't. Oregon coached themselves out of certain situations. And I have a strong feeling that Dan Lanning learned a lot from that afternoon with some of the play calling. And you're going to see those mistakes corrected this Friday. I'm confident that Oregon is going to get their revenge. I think that they're going to win this game 41-31. I think it's going to be a thriller. I think it's going to be entertaining, just like the last one was. Two very, very great football teams playing each other. We're blessed to see them rematch again. But I'd like the Ducks to win this game and mint themselves a spot in the college football playoff. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you and the time that you took out of your day to watch the video. And if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like the video and share it, as well as subscribe to The Era. The more likes and subscribers I get on this channel, the more resources I can attain, and the more resources I can attain, the more value I can provide to you, the viewer. And that is how I show my appreciation for you for the time that you devote to watching my videos. So thank you so much, and have a great day.